thank you all for being here. Again, my name is Geoff Short, just by way of introduction. I do work for CHAUVET DJ. And right now, I don't want to talk about lighting at all. And that may come as a surprise, but that's not my main role at CHAUVET DJ. Today I want to talk about increasing your, and this is a shorter, I just got a couple minutes, but it's something that's near and dear to me that I think about a lot and that I encounter a lot, and that is increasing your DJ cultural awareness. And what I mean by that is how aware are you of the musical tastes and special event traditions of cultures and races outside of your own? And how could that increase your bottom line as a business? So, first, just let me ask, how many of you are actually African American DJs? No, I'm kidding. You don't know. So, this is not unusual at all, but yeah, exactly. So, you know, one of the things that I encounter a lot is dealing with being the only person of color, the only black person at many special events that I do. I'm a working DJ as well, so I'm not a lighting sales guy. I'm interested in education and sharing ideas with people and generating programs that help us all make our gigs more profitable. Lighting, of course, is a big focus for us and for me, but I like to talk about lots of different gig-related things because I'm on gigs all the time. Let me describe a typical reception that I have done recently. Okay, I want to focus on wedding receptions, and for the sake of just having a few minutes, I also want to focus on basically white people and black people. There's lots of people in between, but I can't. This is a topic that could go on for hours. So, let me describe this reception to you. The grand entrance is a personalized thing. There's lots of effects going on as the bridal party comes in. It's the bride and groom's alma mater playing at the college they went. It's a college-themed thing. So picture this fight song happening. They come in, the grand entrance. The first dance is a very romantic Michael Bublé song. And the father-daughter dance is I Loved Her First by Heartland. And the mother-son dance is Forever Young by Rod Stewart. Just based on that alone, what would you say? Was this a white reception or a black wedding reception? It does sound pretty white. It was a little too white, you know what I'm saying? But guess who the DJ was? It was me. And 9 out of 10 times, I'm not exaggerating, that's the situation. I think there are a number of reasons for that, and I want to talk a little bit about that. Now, saying that, and your guys' guess at that being, your correct guess at that being a white reception, tells us a lot right off the bat about stereotypes, about how we initially think about music and the way a wedding reception is. There's nothing inherent about those songs or about that flow of events or anything that should or would suggest, other than our own preconceived notions, that would be black or white. I'm a black man. I love Michael Bublé. I Loved Her First. Cheesy, it's corny, but it gets to me when I see a father and a daughter dance on the dance floor. So, I mean, these are effective things that can work very effectively for anybody. There's no white column and black column when it comes to music. But still, we tend to put these things into these neat kind of columns. And I started thinking about this, and this was actually based on an article I wrote for Mobile Beat a while ago. I was working, before I started working at CHAUVET, I was working for a special event multi-op. And we booked 25 live bands, about 25 DJs, and of that roster, 3 DJs were black and 1 was Hispanic, and virtually every band of those 25 bands had at least 1 black or a couple black people in it. And we certainly would have loved more diversity in our talent lineup, but I really have come to believe that it was reflective of our clientele. Our talent lineup was actually reflecting who our clients were that were booking our services. And I started thinking about why is that? And this is what I hope you guys think about too, because if you're a white DJ, by the way, is there any white DJs here?
I haven't seen any.
Is that right?
You know, are black people hiring you? Do you even care? Why should you care? You know, if they are, fantastic. And we need to share those ideas. I think that it's one of the observations that I've had over the years is that the DJ black weddings, and I want to talk a little bit about statistics for weddings, favor DJs over live bands. Live bands are more expensive than a DJ, traditionally speaking. The band that I was in for many years in Cleveland before I moved to Florida charged about $5,000 a night. And the average DJ cost was about $1,500 a night. That wasn't the average, that was the higher end. So it has something to do with budget. And there's also something that occurs to me too about black people in bands. I noticed that our majority white clientele loved and preferred bands that had black people in them. Now, at first I got kind of offended at that. As a black person in a band, I thought, why wouldn't you hire our black DJs? But you're almost insisting that the band you're thinking about have black people in it. Because you want this band to perform Motown, R&B, soul, and you want that band to do that legitimately or more, you know, more towards the original style of those songs. So am I supposed to essentially tap dance for you, for your event? But when it comes time for me to MC your event and run the event and organize the event on my own, do you trust me then? And fortunately, I can tell you that my experience has been nothing but positive. And I can tell you that is an overreaction on my part. You know, there was no offense taken from our clients. That's not what they meant at all. They just meant, that's a kick-ass band. And they were. We were. And so the funny thing about that first reception that I was describing with the grand entrance and the father-daughter and Michael Bublé and all that, the funny thing about that is that they did not choose me specifically as the DJ for their reception, for that reception. Our company had a program whereby if you were booking closer to an event date, you could, for a lower price, the company would assign a DJ to that event, as opposed to the clientele specifically picking a DJ of their choice farther out in advance. So I volunteered to do that gig, and they had never met me. And it didn't matter, they were paying a lower price and they were totally fine. But I always think about that situation, and tell me if you guys at all feel this, especially people of color, but when you're walking into a room, into a meeting for the first time, and they were not expecting you to be black or Hispanic or Asian or whatever, or white, and thank you, Alan. there's a self-consciousness about that that happens. And my first thing is, now I'm going to impress you. I'm going to show you that you made the right choice. Because I have the experience, I know what I'm talking about. I've been doing gigs since I was 10 years old, and you're in safe hands. And it doesn't take long. But the other interesting thing about that is the stereotype of how certain races and cultures and people should speak. And when you hear my voice on the phone, stereotypically, you may not say, that's a black man on the phone. And I certainly don't go, hi, it's Geoff, I'm black, can I help you? But professionalism, enunciation, diction, class goes beyond any racial boundary. And I don't have to say that. All I have to do is prove to you I know what I'm talking about as a client, not as a black person doing your wedding.